I saw the boat under the water, my heart just sunk itself. It was like, I just cried.
It is tragic. It's our history. The construction photograph is in the National Maritime Museum. I think the crux of the thing with the Almonta is, why does nobody care?
The historic fishing boat sank on its moorings a year ago. It was 2 months after it was hit by a yacht that damaged its caulking. There were offers of help to raise it, but nowhere to repair and display it. It's been underwater for a year. Mario's owned Ali for 5 years. Ali gave him a reason to get up each day.
I was working on the main power lines, the big power lines, and so I had some insulators fall on my head, had my head crushed and stuff like that. So I had a bit of head injury back in '89. So, and kind of life from that point, my life kind of changed a lot from that point on. It was quite traumatic, and I lost my trade, I lost my profession.
He dreamt of a boat just like Almonta as a child.
Yeah, Almonta brought me, it probably brought life back into me, really.
Almonta became Ali, and she became part of our family, she just became part of our family the same way as a pet does or a child does. She just became part of us. He just loved her. He'd go out there if he wasn't feeling great that day, he could go out and he'd always come back calm. He'd never ever came back upset or angry or bothered by the world, It's just that there's something beautiful about being on the ocean. He found, I suppose, some direction, because he started to give her a bit of coat of paint, he started to fix a little bit up, and then a little bit would turn into another thing and another thing and another thing. And there was a little bit in the early days, I wouldn't say rivalry, because you can't really be a rival from a boat, but there were some times where I would have liked to have spent more time with Mario on land, because I didn't go out as often with him. But yeah, he just loved the boat. He just loved her and looked after her as best as he possibly could.
He removed all the fuel and chemicals, and Ali became his floating retreat for fishing and a bit of karaoke. He didn't know the significance of the Almonta for about a year.
That's the model of it. Then they've got in the museum. You see, that's I didn't know the history of it. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't find the sleeping quarters till about 6 months after I had the boat, and it was really funny. There was just a little hole on the floor, and I didn't realise they just had to lift that up, and there was a whole sleeping quarters down there. Had 4 bunk beds and their own cupboards and drawers, and it was like 6 months later, it was like a whole new giant room. That's the Queensland Premier launching the boat in '66. It's and when I saw that, I thought, wow. That's fantastic. And I've even got the kids at the special school doing my stuff as well, and they love the boat. And it was all the stories that I was hearing, everyone's grandfather or father or someone, that worked on the boat and had their own story about the boat. It meant a lot to people.
The Almonta was built by Pat Van Sleeve at Caloundra on the Sunshine Coast, Queensland in 1966 for tuna fisher Mike Berberis from Port Lincoln.
The Almonta was built out of pure Queensland timbers, which were selected in the Emerald Range. We would hike through miles and miles of bushland. For construction timbers, we'd be in the Emerald Ranges. Other than that, we'd be in the low plains areas, which are full of tea trees, and the vegetation there grows in natural shapes that you can use for the stem knee, the stern knees, and so on. Bit of a shame that it's lying on the bottom of the ocean at the moment. I think that the Almonta deserves to be retrieved and not restored, just as a display unit, protected as such to attract the public and tourists, so that the story could be told, because I think the story is worthwhile.
Time is running out. He's asked the National Maritime Museum to help, but they don't have the funds. Port Lincoln's Axel Stenros Museum can't help either.
Many times since the Save Almonta cohort has just gone to rest, I've thought, for heaven's sake, if my father was still alive, he and I'd be down there lifting it ourselves.
I can't even go down there anymore without, I can't even look at it now, because it just depresses me now just to seeing her, because all the great memories I have with her, and also with the people that have stories about her too, that they it's hard to see her where she is at the moment, so hopefully we can do something, That's what I'm hoping for, because I do love the boat.
Mario's appealing for help before it's too late, and Ali and her stories become lost treasure.